I'm actually not that excited for Duelist Saga just because I don't really need any of the reprinted cards and I don't really need a lot of support. But this card, Fallen Paradise, did get released, and this sort of supports a deck that I actually love, which is Trap Monsters. And so basically, what this card does is it prevents your opponent from targeting and destroying with card effects the Sacred Beast cards. So Uriah, Hammond, and Raviel, and I guess the Fusion Monster too, but like obviously I'm not gonna play that. So anyway, they can't be targeted or destroyed while they're on the field, which is like ridiculous. They're pretty much impossible to destroy by battle because of how much attack points they have. So you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, so it prevents them from being targeted or destroyed. So they can't pop them with a Trident, or they can't if they like Solemn Strike the effect of the monster, then like it stays on the board. So it's just really powerful. And then also, once per turn, if you control them, you can just draw 2 cards. So both of those effects are crazy, and it makes me really want to play these cards in decks just because it's such a silly, like the targeting and destruction prevention is already like really powerful. It's sort of like Mounted Bound Creator in that way, but then like drawing 2 cards for like free every turn is really stupid. And I don't know, I feel like Uriah is the most playable, just because Trap Monsters are like a legit deck that I played for a really long time, which basically revolve around you activate the traps in your spell and trap card zone, and they come out as a monster and a trap. So it's not like the Paleozoics where they're only a monster and they come from the grave and you can like Book of Moon them and stuff. These cards have like a bunch of unique effects and rulings that go along with them, and I actually, maybe I'll put it at the end of the video, but I basically, a long time ago, I played this deck for months, and I did a ruling video, because there are some weird rulings, like if you Tsukiyomi a trap monster, then it goes face down to the back row. That's kind of interesting, but trap monsters in general are really cool, and I always loved a lot of their interactions, mainly Statue of Anguish pattern, which is the spider card. It is 2500 defense, and then every time a trap monster is summoned, you get to pop a card on your opponent's field, or I guess anywhere on the field, really, just for free, and you can do that as many times a turn as you want, and also it can't be targeted if you control another trap monster. So that card, man, that card is really good, and the combo with it that I found out probably too late, because I found it out when I really wasn't playing trap monsters that much. But you can play Cyber Shadow Gardener. So basically, Cyber Shadow Gardener is a card that you can activate on your opponent's main phase. It comes out with 0 attack, and if they battle it, it matches the attack of the monster that they're battling. And then during the end phase, it sets back to your back row. So that doesn't seem that good, and it's not like an aggressive card, but it means that you can trigger Statue of Anguish pattern every single turn for free. Whereas my original problems with the deck were that if you open like statue and then like 2 trap monsters, once you activate those 2 trap monsters, yeah, like you're popping 2 cards, but then you're not getting any more momentum. But with Cyber Shadow Gardener, you get the destruction effect every single turn, and it's just like really stupid. Back in the day, I would use Necro Valley, because this was like Shuttles and BA when they were around, and you would just activate Necro Valley and then just pop all their cards with Anguish or Statue of Anguish pattern, and they just couldn't do anything, and it was hilarious. The other big heavy hitter in this deck is the Calculator. Gains 300 attack for every level on your field. Statue is level 7, and then most of them are level 4. I also play Metal Reflect Slime, which is level 10. And the Calculator is just like the best normal summon in the deck. I am also playing Card Cardi, but the Calculator is really where it's at. It just gets to such huge amounts of attack for like nothing. And yeah, that's sort of like your main attacker. Anyway, besides trap monsters, the reason that I wanted to play this deck now was because Uriah and because of this field spell, because it's actually really cool. I never thought a card like this would be created, because it's just like leaps and bounds better than Mound of the Bound Creator, because Mound of the Bound Creator doesn't like do anything proactive. It just like keeps your level 10 monsters from dying. But by drawing 2 cards every turn, it immediately compensates for the summoning requirement of Uriah, which is getting rid of 3 continuous trap cards. And I think that, like I said, Uriah I think is the easiest to actually summon. I think Raviel is like literally impossible to summon, or just impractical to summon. And I think Hammond is like kind of fine in Crystal Beast, I guess. I don't know if this would make it worth playing in Crystal Beast, probably not. But in Trap Monsters, like Uriah gets to like so much attack points, and like they can't kill it with anything, and it's just like it's good. It's good stuff. And your plays already are naturally putting continuous traps in your grave, so it It usually doesn't come out just at 3,000 attack. It comes out at like 4 or 5,000 attack points. And yeah, I like that. A 4,000 attack monster that can't be targeted or destroyed, and you also get to draw 2 cards every turn. And yeah, like right there, like I draw 2 cards into Desires to draw 2 more cards. And then you have even after sending 3 continuous traps to summon Uria, you can then like set more back row after that, and it's usually just way too much for them to deal with. Do I think this deck is good on a competitive level? Obviously not. It's just a fun deck, but I think you can take this in a couple different ways. In Duelist Saga, there also was that level 5 monster that got released, and I believe its effect is like you can attribute it to summon one of the sacred beasts from your deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. I suppose we could use that to like summon them and try to use them for the fusion monster, but I think realistically, and I mean it makes sense too, but realistically I think you're supposed to just play one of them in a deck and then just build the deck around that, because you just can't really play fiends, traps, and continuous spells. Like that just doesn't work very well, and just really inconsistent. And already this deck is kind of inconsistent. Out of the recent decks that I've been playing that are all like really cheesy, have taken me several hours to get the gameplay for. But this one actually wasn't that hard. Just because you can search Fallen Paradise to Terraforming, and then you have a lot of draw power in this deck because you have the cards, you have the dualities, you have the desires, so you can usually see Uria pretty fast, but also you have a lot of stalling capabilities. I mean, in this gameplay especially, you see me use the Cyber Shadow Garden to pop a bunch of cards, and it's like, well, that was actually right there. That was like the dumbest interaction ever, because Big Benki can attack while in defense mode, and Cyber Shadow Garna gains its stats, but seeing Big Benki has 1,000 attack, it just like fucked over Cyber Shadow Garna, and that's something I didn't think about. Also, Imperial Custom, that's a cool card. So basically, Imperial Custom, when it's on the field, other continuous trap cards can't be destroyed. And because the trap monsters count as a monster and a trap, that means that they can't be destroyed by anything. So like you just get fields of just a couple trap monsters that like your opponent just can't get rid of unless they first get rid of the Imperial Custom. And when you add on like also having a Uria that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, it's just like usually too much for your opponent to deal with. I don't know, this deck's just so much fun. I always wanted to play Uria in something because it is my favorite of the Sacred Beasts. I know I keep calling it Sacred Beasts. I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. Someone will probably correct me if I'm wrong there. But I really like Uria. I think it has the coolest artwork. It's one of the better pyros in the game, which is weird to say because that just shows you how bad pyros are. But like I said, I think it's the most practical of all the Sacred Beasts, and I think it always has been. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we've seen Uria decks top regionals way back in the day, several years ago, just because there are lots of really good Floodgate continuous traps. I mean, you could be playing, it's really bad right now, so I'm not playing it in this version, but you could like main deck Anti-Spell Fragrance in this deck if you wanted to, and then if you have like, I mean, how do pendulums deal with Anti-Spell Fragrance plus Imperial Custom? Like, then they have to have like, they can't have Twin Twister because like if you Twin Twister Imperial Custom and then a continuous trap, just the custom goes, very similar to like Imperial Custom versus Heavy Storm. So they would have to have 2 means of destruction, and usually they only have like the 1 out to the Anti-Spell Fragrance, but I'm not playing that here because like it doesn't really mesh with anything, and it's not really good this format, especially in the main deck, but it would definitely be something to side deck. And when I played this deck originally, I was playing like Shadow Imprisoning Mirror and Light Imprisoning Mirror as well, because I believe Anguish Pattern is a Earth monster, so yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an Earth monster, so that would mean that it's not affected by either of those mirror cards. But yeah, the interaction with Floodgates is really good. You could also play Necro Valley in this deck, like I said, and Necro Valley, that card with the errata from Duelist Saga is actually really playable, and I don't think, I mean, the first results from regionals this weekend are just pouring in. I don't think anyone's playing that card yet, but I really want to play Necro Valley in something, because Necro Valley is so good against Infernoids and Paleozoics, and yes, they can draw outs, but they're not really likely to, especially in the 60 card versions of the deck. So I think that it's like, I don't know, Necro Valley is cool, and you can play Gravekeeper's Commandant. You don't even have to play Terraforming, but if you are playing Terraforming already, you can just play Necro Valley as like a one-of to search. It's cool. I like Necro Valley. I always have, and I think that now is a pretty good time to play it, but I might do a video on that later. I don't know how good Gravekeepers are. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I've had to say about this. One thing is to mention as a last note, this doesn't really get affected by dimensional barrier, because like I think this game is the only game I summoned anything from the extra deck. Usually just like summoning the trap monsters and attacking with them, and then like Uria and Calculator obviously aren't extra deck monsters. So yeah, that's just like something randomly applicable. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you later. Bye.